Live from the Don and Lorena Meyer studio at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln College of Journalism and Mass Communications, this is Nebraska Nightly.
Good afternoon and welcome to Nebraska Nightly. I'm Sophie Farrell.
And I'm Mackenzie Noble. Federal budget proposals from the Trump administration is affecting many Nebraskans once again.
That's our top story tonight.
Researchers at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln are facing more budget cuts from the Trump administration. Friday, the White House released its discretionary budget request. In it, the administration proposed a $5 billion cut to the National Science Foundation, which supports non-medical science research in the U.S. This would be more than 50% of the NSF's current budget, and $3.5 billion of the cuts would come out of research and education. The Trump administration directly mentions the University of Nebraska in the reasons for cutting NSF funding, saying the NSF funds research of dubious public value, using a research project aimed to support communities in the research of birds. The budget must be approved by Congress before it goes into effect. In April, the Department of Government Efficiency terminated $850,000 worth of grants UNL received from the National Endowment of the Humanities. 6 total grant recipients at UNL lost funding, including the Genoa Indian School Project and the Nebraska Digital Newspaper Project. The university is not the only part of Nebraska affected by Trump administration cuts. Nebraska is home to 2 national forests and 3 national grasslands. The U.S. Forest Service manages these lands. The service was an early target of Trump cuts, with an estimated 3,400 employees being fired in late February. Nebraska Nightly talked to Gracie Jones, a UNL student and former U.S. Forest Service employee. She says these cuts leave many in her hometown at risk of losing their jobs.
I think it's sometimes hard here in Lincoln because we don't have any, Forest Service lands around here, so people don't quite have an understanding of it. But where I'm from, there's a ton of national forest land, and that's one of probably the second highest employer in my hometown of Shadron, Nebraska. So it's a lot of people that I've worked with before for the past 2 years that are worried about losing their jobs. They are preparing for losing it even if they haven't already lost it.
President Trump is also directing the U.S. Forest Service to roll back environmental protections on 58% to allow for more logging.
Since 1967, public media has always been able to rely on some federal funds to financially support their programming. But as Nebraska Nightly's Harmon Johnson reports, a May 1st executive order has raised some concern for the future of public radio and television stations and their future employees.
In the amount of time it takes to sign his name, President Trump has placed restrictions on how funding from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting can be used by public media outlets to access PBS and NPR programming. In doing so, even financially responsible entities like Nebraska Public Media are reevaluating how they can continue to provide national and local content to thousands of homes across Nebraska, both on the radio and on television.
Some of that federal money is used to pay for local as well. And so, again, as we assess the impact of this, is there a possibility that we could see some effects to local content? Sure.
Contrary to public panic on social media, this executive order doesn't abruptly end the content many have grown to love and trust. But Decker says that doesn't mean there might not be changes in the future.
We may look a little different. I don't know. We're still really assessing the total impact of this and waiting to hear from NPR and PBS to determine exactly what the course of action might look like. But I promise you this, Nebraska Public Media will be around for sure. And we will continue to provide Nebraskans with relevant content and information.
But that just scratches the surface as to who's affected by this executive order. The alarm bells have started to begin ringing softly in the next generation of public media professionals, journalism students.
But when you begin cutting funding and there are fewer of those stations that exist anymore, it means that there are fewer of those jobs available for students that are passionate about being journalists.
Barney McCoy, a veteran of public media and professor at the College of Journalism and Mass Communications, says public media is the practice ground for students to master their craft.
And having the opportunities to actually do real reporting, helping to cover the state of Nebraska, getting that valuable experience so that many of those students through those experiences go on to be full-time employees at Nebraska Public Media or go work at another public media station across the country.
As the Trump administration continues to shake up American society, the distant future remains unclear for public media, its audience, and its prospective workforce. Only time will tell how the media industry will evolve again in the face of adversity. Harmon Johnson, Nebraska Nightly.
Many public media companies like NPM are encouraging fans to advocate for the public programming by sharing stories or posts on social media using the hashtags #ViewersLikeMe and #ProtectMyPublicMedia. They are also asking for donations to help bridge the gap where the federal funds might have been.
For the first time ever, the city of Lincoln is making space for style. Lincoln Fashion Weekend kicked off with bold looks, big dreams, and a local mission. Lincoln is now home to its very own Fashion Week, something creative director McKaylee Gade dreamed about for years. She's a UNL alum and started Lincoln Fashion Weekend to bring opportunities closer to home. With designers traveling in from Denver, Phoenix, and Kansas City, Lincoln is stepping onto the national style scene, proving you don't have to live in a big city to love fashion.
I just felt like we needed it here, the college is here, and we just need to bring more opportunities to Lincoln so that everybody's not moving away after they graduate. That yes, we might live in Nebraska, but we can love fashion and be fashionable too.
Lincoln Fashion Weekend wrapped up with its main runway show this past Saturday, and organizers already have big plans to make it even bigger next year. With Omaha hosting fashion weeks of its own for years, Gade believes Lincoln's May will serve as the perfect complement to the Omaha shows.
Sustainability is the practice of helping meet today's needs without hurting the environment for future generations. At UNL, students are taking that idea to heart and to their closet. The UNL community is getting a chance to shop sustainably while also learning how small choices can make a big impact.
We do a lot of really cool events. We try to get students connected with sustainability on campus. This is one of our best events that we've had so far this semester. We've had a lot of really great turnout, and we're excited to see where the future holds us.
We were the first sustainability ambassadors at Nebraska, so that's been really exciting to kind of help pilot the role and see what it looks like to help Nebraska be a leader in sustainability.
The pop-up shop included 13 vendors, a Taza coffee station, snacks, and a way to encourage eco-friendly fashion and reduce textile waste. For more information about the sustainability ambassadors and their future events, you can visit sustainability.unl.edu.
And with recent exposure amongst the public due processes have been making headlines. Nebraska Nightly's Blake Mace interviews University of Nebraska-Lincoln law professor Eric Berger and American Civil Liberties Executive Director Mindy Rush Chipman.
Due process has been a cornerstone of the Constitution since its inception in 1789. It first appears in the Fifth Amendment, where no person can be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law. Due process also appears in the 14th Amendment, where it defines citizenship, guarantees equal protection under the law, and ensures due process.
So, the fundamentals of due process is that the government has to provide you a hearing, an opportunity in court before a neutral tribunal before it's going to take away your life, liberty, or your property. So certainly before the government detains you or imprisons you or deports you, you have the right to go before a judge and hear what the evidence is against you and make your case.
Due process also relates to the much more commonly talked about First Amendment. Several international students have had their legal status questioned, potentially due to their speech.
So the government should not be able to deport you and revoke your valid visa in retaliation for your speech, but I think international students should be aware of what is going on and should realize that there are serious risks involved in engaging in those protests now than would be the case under another administration.
Since the new administration has come into power, there have been individuals targeted, particularly folks that are non-citizens, for quote-unquote political speech. Marco Rubio has clearly stated that these individuals have been targeted by scraping the internet and identifying political speech that the administration disfavors.
Just over 100 days into Trump's presidency, every day has been a roller coaster ride. Solutions to this issue are far and few between, but Nebraska residents are prepared to adapt. Blake Mace, Nebraska Nightly.
For some, the Holocaust is just an event they learn about in school. For others, it's a memory they can never forget. Last June, the Nebraska History Museum opened Portraits of Survival, an exhibit focused on highlighting Holocaust survivors from Lincoln and Omaha. Beth Doughton at UNL Harris Center for Judaic Studies approved David Radler, the photographer behind the exhibit, with the hopes to honor those impacted by the Holocaust.
To me, the most important thing is their eyes and the way they look into the camera.
Over the course of a month, Radler and Doughton contacted the survivors and met with them in their homes. The goal of the exhibit is to show where these survivors are now, not to keep them trapped in their past trauma.
Yes, the Holocaust was horrible. People survived, and they survived to tell their stories. They survived to do amazing things, and our mission is to listen to their story, to treat them with respect.
Many of the survivors have passed away, but their stories live in the photographs and stories portrayed in the portraits of survival. The exhibit will be shown until 2026, and you can see it for yourself Tuesdays through Saturdays at the Nebraska.
Up next, a new Lincoln pickleball venue grows in popularity.
And a local coffee shop feels like a community for Lincoln residents. Stick with us.
The heck?
Social media is a daily part of many college students' lives, something
Many of the brands you love don't love animals like you do. Look at the labels of products you use for a bunny logo signifying they don't lab test on animals. Check the label for those who aren't able. Start making the shift by visiting crueltyfreekitty.com today.
On average, every Big Ten student wastes 112 pounds of garbage each year, but there's a fix. Make sure you use an Aussie when you dine in and be a part of the change.
Welcome back to Nebraska Nightly. Spring conditions have settled in with the summer weather slowly creeping in.
Today we're seeing a sunny temperature of 77 degrees with 31% humidity and a 6-mile-per-hour northeast wind.
Over the next 7 days, temperatures will be in onset highs and lows with mostly sunny conditions throughout. If there was a better time to get outside and relish in the sunshine.
Pickleball is one of the fastest growing sports in the country, and here in Lincoln, it's gaining momentum fast. A new facility is seeing players of all ages pick up a paddle. At Let's Pickle, a new indoor pickleball venue in Lincoln, the courts are filling up fast. Whether you're a first-timer or a seasoned player, the goal is simple: make pickleball fun, social, and accessible for everyone. Co-owner Chadwick Fisher says they have seen interest explode in just a few months.
It's a mix of everything, which is great. My 5-year-old son loves to play. We have kids parties. We have retirees here during the afternoon, at night, on the weekends, corporate events, all ages, all skill levels, everyone. So it's great to see, and that's what we're here for. We want to make sure everybody's comfortable, everybody doesn't feel intimidated. We want everybody to come to the sport, so yeah.
The new facility is quickly becoming a social hub for pickleball players across Lincoln. For more information, visit letspickleball.com.
Just off of Y Street in a part of Lincoln that's easy to overlook, Reactor Coffee is doing more than just serving drinks. It's building relationships. From students and families to artists and locals, Nebraska Nightly's Ellie Klanderman reports it's become a space where community shows up and stays connected.
Inside Reactor, regulars don't just place orders. They swap stories, share updates, and sometimes even more.
Last week, we had an engagement. A couple of our long-term, they've been coming for 3 years, a couple of our customers asked if he could propose to his girlfriend here. And so after hours, their friends came in and set up a whole scene in here with flower petals and candles and whatnot. So we've had 2 proposals like that happen.
It's moments like this that show how much Reactor means to the Lincoln community.
So we're very uncensored, unfiltered versions of ourselves, which I think a lot of people appreciate, because you come in and you get a nice, friendly face to welcome you, and there's no sort of like pretentiosity or no. We try to foster like friendliness when you walk in here, because then it makes you feel more comfortable to stay and to come back kind of thing.
For their baristas, it's more than good customer service. It's about connection.
Like the small talk you have can really make or break your day. Like sometimes people are having a bad day, they come in here and we cry together and we're like, hey, have a drink on me kind of thing. But sometimes people are like, oh, I just got hired, or I just got I got a new job, or I got married, or whatever. And you get to just kind of share the little things with them.
And for students like Heidi Suarez, Reactor isn't just convenient, it's comforting.
Me and my roommates would like to motivate ourselves to get up in the morning by going on trips to come here and get coffee before our classes.
For a lot of Lincoln residents, Reactor is more than just a coffee shop. It's a little piece of routine or calm or connection. And on busy or stressful days, that's something pretty special. Ellie Klanderman, Nebraska Nightly.
Reactor Coffee hopes to keep serving up more than coffee and continue creating a space for both UNL students and Lincoln residents to feel a sense of community.
The process for selecting the new pope begins tomorrow.
That's what's next on Nebraska Nightly.
Is it Rafael Romo? Is that the CNN guy?
Welcome back to Nebraska Nightly. The conclave in the Sistine Chapel will start tomorrow. 80% of the cardinal electors who will have the task of choosing a new pope were named by Pope Francis.
CNN's Rafael Romo reports from Rome. This is a group of cardinals that will be significantly different from the ones who chose other popes in the past.
While the stove where the ballots will be burnt was assembled inside, on the rooftop of the Sistine Chapel, the Vatican Fire Brigade installed the chimney that will announce to the world the new pope has been chosen when white smoke billows out of it. Cardinals have been meeting daily to discuss church matters and the conclave.
The conclave will begin on May 7th with one vote. After that, the cardinals will take 4 votes a day, 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening, Rome time, of course.
But who are these men who will choose a new pope? The cardinal electors come from 71 countries across 5 continents. The Vatican says that during his 12 years of pontificate, Pope Francis significantly reshaped the College of Cardinals, making it a less Eurocentric and a more international body. And for the first time in the Church's history, 15 new nations will be represented by their native electors, including Tonga, a Polynesian kingdom in Oceania, South Sudan, a war-torn and landlocked nation in East Africa, and Paraguay, the neighbor of Pope Francis' native Argentina in South America.
We don't want someone too young, right? Think of the papacy of John Paul II. He was in that office for 27 years. There was a consensus that maybe that was a little too long to have one person at the helm.
The youngest elector, Cardinal Mykola Bichak, who serves in Melbourne, Australia, but was born in Ukraine, is only 45 years old, while 79-year-old Cardinal Carlos Osoro Sierra, the retired Archbishop of Madrid and a Spaniard, is the oldest.
I don't think there's any room for politics here. I think we need somebody that follows in his footsteps with the same type of belief system to make the Catholic Church all-inclusive and not turn people away.
While it will be a less European conclave, 53 cardinal electors, the majority, come from Europe, with Italy still having the largest number with 19, followed by France with 6 and Spain with 5. 16 cardinals hail from North America, 4 from Central America, and 17 from South America, while 23 travel from Asia, 18 from Africa, and 4 from Oceania. The teachings of Pope Francis loom large as the top cardinal reminded the faithful on Saturday about how much the late pontiff cared for the less fortunate.
Soprattutto,
especially the poorest, the last, the discarded, because in them is the Lord, Cardinal Fernandez said.
It remains to be seen whether the cardinal electors stick with a reformer like Francis or someone who charts a more conservative path for the Roman Catholic Church. I'm Rafael Romo reporting from Rome.
Coming up after the break, meet Nebraska's new basketball coaching edition.
Plus, Troy Dannon adds a new position to his resume, all after the break.
Of the 40 million tons of plastic waste generated in the U.S. in 2021, only 5%, or 2 million tons, was recycled. Make sure you do your part in keeping Anderson Hall clean. For more information on recycling statistics, visit epa.gov today.
Welcome back to Nebraska Nightly. I'm Trey Marler. Coming off 2 straight Big Ten Series victories and a walk-off over Kansas State, Nebraska baseball finally finds themselves at 500 and back in the Big Ten tournament field. But tonight, the rubber match with in-state rival Creighton in the last I-80 matchup for Creighton baseball coach Ed Service. And yesterday, while on the Husker Radio Network, Will Bolt sent a special message to Husker Nation.
We want to, put our best foot forward with a new week, new opportunities, and expect a really good crowd, and let's get loud. Let's get rowdy in Haymarket.
First pitch between the Jays and the Huskers is set for 6 p.m. tonight at Haymarket Park. In surprise news, Will Walsh gets to start on the bump, moving from his regular Friday night role. The season series is split at 1 game apiece, which means the winner tonight will take the 2025 series. The game will be televised on Big Ten Plus. Jacob Schrantz and Justice Rohde will be on the call. In Nebraska football news, Athletic Director Troy Dannon has been appointed to the College Football Playoff Selection Committee. Dannon will replace Damon Evans, who became the athletic director at SMU. Dannon brings experience into his new position as he was a former member of the FCS Selection Committee. In mid-April, Fred Hoiberg added Pat Monahan to his coaching staff. Monahan brings in 19 years worth of coaching experience at all levels of the game. His last stop was at the University of Wyoming. He's also coached at Wisconsin Green Bay, Southern Illinois, and Coffeyville Community College. Coach Monahan spoke to the media earlier today and touched on one thing all those stops have in common. They have surrounded him with winners.
The most important thing for me, though, is I tried to surround myself with winning people and winning programs. I've kind of just stayed to that within my career, and it's obviously led me to a Big Ten position here.
Spring sports finally wrapping up here, guys. Nebraska softball, they'll play the winner of Iowa and Penn State on Thursday morning in the first round of the Big Ten tournament. Nebraska baseball, Creighton tonight, and then Michigan this weekend. All these spring sports kind of wrapping up as our semester wraps up as well, so it should be a lot of fun.
I know, but all this football news, it's like basically fall already with school being over, so that's exciting.
I hope it feels just like this when football season comes back around, because
so maybe just a tad cooler, and then I'm over like a 55, 60, but yeah, Troy Dan on the CFP committee. Big news, big step for the Nebraska Athletic Department. Should be nice to have a voice in those meetings come late December.
Up next on Nebraska Nightly,
we take a look at the next semester
and say goodbye to our seniors.
I kicked one of my buddies in the head. I was like, yeah, we got to go after that.
I take back what I said.
Hey, you done for the day?
Yeah, just kind of maxed out on people.
Is there anything you wanted to talk about?
Thanks for asking. I have been feeling just kind of off lately.
Do you want me to
Concerned about a friend? Just ask and refer them to counseling and psychological services at UNL.
Welcome back to Nebraska Nightly.
We're taking one final look at our weather. Over the next 3 days, it will be cloudy with a high of 75 and a low of 52 on Wednesday, mostly cloudy with a high of 76 with a low of 48 on Thursday, and sunny with a high of 80 and a low of 51 on Friday. It should be a pretty nice weekend as we move through the rest of Dead Week.
Nebraska Nightly is proud to announce its 2 student leads for the fall 2025 semester. Returning for his second semester as a student lead, Harmon Johnson, a junior from Sutherland, Nebraska, will serve as Nightly's executive producer, working in both the control room and the newsroom. Joining him will be Sophie Farrell, a senior from Hopkins, Minnesota. Sophie will bring her skills to the newsroom, helping mainly with reporters on the content we provide to our audience.
Today is the last show of the semester.
And for that reason, Nebraska Nightly would like to recognize 4 graduating seniors who are working their final show before moving on to their professional careers.
First, Jay Cumando. Jay has been with Nebraska Nightly for 8 semesters, taking us all the way back to the fall of 2022. His main roles have been in the control room as an operations manager, graphics creator, technical director. He can basically do everything.
Jay served as student lead for 2 semesters, both fall of 2023 and spring of 2024. We're so excited to see where his talents take him.
We are honored to have had him as a part of our team his whole college career. Not only has his dedication shown through his work and leadership, but also through his outfit choices.
Yeah, every single show day, Jay shows up in 2 different shoes. He does this because he believes this brings good luck for us to have a good show. And I think we can all agree that it works.
Definitely. We have 3 more graduating seniors that are part of our program.
First, Sarah Pearson. Sarah's been with us for 4 semesters now, starting in fall of 2023. She's brought her passion of sports to the screen by anchoring the sports segment and covering games.
Next, Dominic Ferraro. Dominic has been part of the team for 3 semesters, starting in the spring of 2024. He has served as our wonderful meteorologist.
Finally, Joel Bierbauer. Joel has served on our team for 2 semesters since fall of 2024. He brought his love for all things entertainment by anchoring and covering numerous events around Lincoln.
Thank you all again for your hard work and dedication to Nebraska Nightly. We could have not done it without you.
I mean, honestly, I don't know where we would be without them.
I don't either. It's going to be really weird not having them back next semester, but
honestly,
I'm excited.
I mean, every time you come into the studio, you know Jay's going to be there.
Oh yeah, any time of the day,
Whether
night.
He's just hanging out in the control room or he's doing Lord knows what.
Yeah.
But
I know if I come in between classes, I can always have a conversation with Jay, which would be, which is
sometimes
good.
he would bring an overnight bag, actually.
Oh yeah,
so,
I know.
Just in case.
Rumor has it he has a blanket and a pillow in the back.
And always 2 different shoes, of course, just in case. So today was our final show of the spring 2025 semester.
We would like to thank all of you for tuning in each day as Nebraska Nightly transitioned to provide update shows along with our usual live newscasts.
And one final thanks again goes out to our seniors, Jay, Sarah, Dominic, and Joel, and other departing members of our student staff, as well as our professionals and residents, Michael Lauber, Amber Little, Heath Miller, Jill Lampkins, and the Hall of Famer himself, Mike McKnight.
Other thanks go out to our faculty liaison, Ken Fisher, engineer Jamie Wenz, and experienced lab directors Jill Martin and Chris Anderson.
The fall 2025 semester begins on August 25th, so expect our first newscast of the new semester on or around September 12th.
Have a great evening and an even better summer.
Nebraska Nightly is a production of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln's College of Journalism and Mass Communications.